that is like a really good entrepreneur, and he's an entrepreneur that say that only people that have crazy ideas can change the world. Why do you think that he said that? Why do you think that he said only people that have crazy ideas can change the world?
Because then they're inventing something new.
Exactly. Isabella?
Because it's different and people like if you've just got like a dull idea and it's just like not very imaginative and you've just come up with like say a plank of wood or something, people aren't going to be interested in stuff like that. If you've come up with stuff with colours and stuff like different feelings or something like that, people are going to want something like that.
Do you think who said that? Who said that only people? Who do you think that said that?
Albert Einstein?
No. No. Who do you think, Isabella? It's a guy called Steve Jobs. You know what Steve Jobs invented?
Isn't he an apple?
Yeah, he invented Apple. He was the one that started Apple. So he said that he thinks that only people that think that can change the world will change it. So with crazy ideas. And that's what I say to you all the time. You have to be innovative and you have to change everything. And today we're going to see, if you remember what we said last time, and we have been saying for ages all the time, we say you have to have a problem, and then you have a solution, and then you have to go back to problem and then your solution, because what happened with business is that it's a cycle. You have to invent all the time new things and you have to change. If you don't change, you cannot become an entrepreneur. So you have to make sure that you change and that you do everything all the time and change. Okay, so it's a cycle. And sometimes what you do to look at businesses, you have to do what is called a SWOT analysis. So, and we have looked at different things of what you can decide how you can improve your business. And do you think what maybe SWOT stands for? When you look at a business, Isabella?
It's like a team.
No. Sophia, what do you think that is?
A society?
No. So this is what you do. So you have a business and you want to think how well your business is doing. You do what is called a SWOT analysis, and people think about SWOT because it's how you look at a business and think how you're going to assess how you're doing. The S is for strengths. So what is strengths that your businesses have? Okay. Then you have the W. Isabella.
And weaknesses.
Very good. So it's weaknesses. What do you think that the O is for? Sophia, you think O? Okay, so the O is for opportunities. So what are the opportunities? And you think, what do you think that is a T? What do you think, Isabella? Nothing? Okay, so it's called threats. So it's threats to your business. Okay, so you have, it's called, what is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats do you have? So for the example today, we're going to look at a business that you know very well that is a play area. So it's called Tiny Town. And you know Tiny Town very well because it's your indoor play area. Okay? And that is the business that we're going to look today. And we're going to use each of the letters and see what do you think that are the strengths, what do you think that are the weaknesses, what do you think that are opportunities, and what do you think that are the threats, okay? So the first thing is, what do you think that are the strengths of Tiny Town? If you look at Tiny Town and you think about Tiny Town, give me 5 things that you think is strengths. Sophia?
That they have different types of things that everyone can do.
Different, so variety. That's called variety, okay? So different things that kids can have. Isabella?
Lots of people live near there.
Lots of people. So that is, so lots of people live near. So that is, it has an extensive people that can get extensive community and population base. Sophia, what do you think?
That they have different age groups.
Okay, so that, okay, so age groups, so that it has different age groups, so that's the strengths, because you can have more customers, and that's great. What else do you think, Isabella? 2 more.
Their strength is that it's like, it's for many different ages.
We already have that, age groups. What strength do you have?
That's for anyone, so if they have a problem then they can still go.
Okay, so it caters for different people. So if they are disabled people, they can come in. If they are parents and old and young, so okay. So so that it has different activities. Okay, Isabella?
It has like a food place.
A food place. That's a very good point. So diversity of income. So it doesn't depend just in people coming in, but it has diversity. So it sells things that are different. So when you come in, you can sell other things that the business doesn't offer. You only don't come to play, but you can also do other things, which is great. So that's the strengths. Do you think the other strengths of Tiny Town very quickly for a business? So it has been open for 10 years, so people know it now. People know where it is, so it is stable, okay? And people know about the business, people understand the business, so it has a consumer base. It has, what other strengths do you have? The team. It has a lot of really good employees that have been working for a long time, and it has very good management that has been there for 10 years, so that's a really good thing of Tiny Town. The other thing that it has, for example, if you look at a business, is a lot of businesses has a lot of debt and are owned by shareholders. Well, Tiny Town is just a family business, so you know who the owners are.
It has a variety of food and drink, so if people don't like a certain food there, they can always go for another one.
Exactly. So, but that's what Isabella said about that. There's also food and stuff. So that's the strengths. Okay. So when you look at that, you think, okay, how much do we think the strengths are, and now what do you think that the weaknesses are? If you look at weaknesses of a business, Isabella.
It's when it's sunny, people don't want to be in a soft play area.
Very good. So it dependent on outside influences, because, and you remember that before we said about the difficulty that you have outside and inside impacts, and sometimes you cannot control them. That is an outside influence. You cannot control the weather. So if it's very sunny, people don't come. So that's a real weakness because you depend on the weather. Sophia?
I'm not quite sure.
It has a limited, I gave you some stuff, it's limited in people, so you can only have so many people at a time. So if there's too many people, you have to close and say, look, I'm sorry, but we're too busy. So limited, because what other things do you think that it has?
Not a car park, like.
The car park, so yes, so the space is limited. So if you have a lot of people that are driving, you may not have enough spaces for people to park. It's fair.
I'm not quite sure if this is one, but they, like, if people came in with an allergy of one of the foods.
Right. So that is, I don't think that is a weakness, but yes, you have to make sure that you cater for everybody. So that's one of the things that you may have outside, but that the strengths, because we saw it in the coffee shop that you could cope with that. But yeah, but other weaknesses, what other weaknesses you have that you can think of? That it depends on people. So if you don't have anybody at work, if people get sick, what happens? You have to close. You have to close. You depend on people working. What else do you think that is a weakness of Tiny Town? What happens, for example, at the moment with the close down? With the close down, what happens? Exactly. So you depend on outside influences like COVID. So if you're closed, you cannot trade. So you depend on being open at all times. Other weaknesses that you think of Tiny Town? It's difficult to expand it. So if you wanted to create another Tiny Town, you will need a bigger space. So it's very difficult to expand it because it's costly and it's very bespoke. So where it is at the moment, it needs a big warehouse that people can work on it. What do you think are the opportunities? What opportunities? So now we're moving to the future. So these two we're looking at the moment. We're looking at the future. What opportunities do you think that there are for Tiny Town in the future? Think of new.
Maybe for other, maybe kind of soft play areas.
So open. Okay. So you have an opportunity to open new play areas. So a franchise, for example. So you can create more Tiny Towns. But we said that that's a problem because it's difficult to expand.
An opportunity you can have is adding something new, like a drop slide.
Adding something new. So adding new things. Diversification. So we said that it has a lot of variety, but it may be that because it's so big, we also need to put new products. So there are opportunities to put new things. So you could put new machines or new trampolines or something that the people really like that are new products because the space is there. So there are new opportunities that you can put in. What else do you think, Isabella, that you can do?
For an opportunity, you can try and advertise it more.
Advertise it more. So that there may be, we said here that there were loads of people, the catchment area is really big because people live close to it. It may be that there is an opportunity to expand your customer base. That's what it's called. Your customer base is the people that come to tiny town. We may be able to expand it. We can't say, like Isabella said, advertise and attract people from far away.
Maybe for more people to come. So if people that were on the shift of doing that and they couldn't come because they were ill, you might need an extra person to come in to cover their shift.
So it's an opportunity to expand the team. So we can expand the team members to offer new things, because that's always possible. You can have more people, so that's really good. So I have the opportunities. Now, what threats do you have? So, you know what threats means, first of all? What do you mean by threats?
Do threats mean like people threaten what you do?
Yes, that's the definition of threat, but for a business, what do you mean is threats?
Threats for a business, isn't it, when it's like, so say, like a really bad threat would be like having to close down your business. It's like something that could happen to your business.
So what is the threat at the moment? That because of coronavirus, you have to close down completely because you don't have any money. So you have coronavirus, you don't know when we are going to open, so you don't have money, so you have to close down unless you manage it very well. So you have a big threat.
To sell it to someone?
The threat is somebody will come and say, you know, we want to buy you because your business doesn't work anymore. So you have a threat that somebody says it doesn't work anymore. What other threats do you have? The other threats that you have is, you know, do you remember what we said about when we said that businesses go wrong, and we said there are internal threats and external threats? Well, what do you think that is internal? What happens if you have internal threats that our employees may not come because they may not have money, so they find other jobs? That's a problem. Or we cannot find enough employees, so that's a really big threat. Or, you know, we as tiny town, we cannot change what we do, so that's a threat because we have to change all the time. But external threats, what happens if somebody puts competition next to us? So somebody decides to put competition next to us, or somebody decides that they are going to put exactly the same business, but they were going to charge less money. That's a threat, because do you remember what we talked yesterday about supply and demand? If somebody opens, there is more supply, and the problem is demand hasn't grown because we don't have more kids. So now we're going to have to put the prices down to be able to survive, which is a real problem. So you have to make sure that that happens. Other threats that you can have is that the cost of running a place goes really, really high. So all your products that you sell, because you need products, so you need for the coffee shop, we said that we had a lot of products. What happens if that people that sell you the products don't have products? So there is not enough milk, there is not enough eggs, there are not enough bread. You cannot sell them anymore, which means that you don't have anything to sell. Or the prices that you have to pay for that are really high, and then your customers don't want to pay it. Or what happens if all your customers run out of money? They won't be able to come. So that happens, that is a threat. And there are threats that you're not able to, to manage. There are not threats that you can control. There are outside threats. So when you look at a business, Isabella.
I don't know if this would be internal or external, but say your delivery, so it's a really busy day in like tiny town.